I mean, gosh, if there's one thing we're not good at, it's advertising.
I don't know.
Did you see the picture I just sent you?
Yeah.
That's my
That's your lighting setup.
that's what I could do. That's what I could do. It's not, I mean, it's not terrible.
Were you saying that one thing we're not good at is advertising because we didn't tell anybody this was happening?
Yeah.
It's fine. Let's not pretend like this isn't just for us anyway.
No, this is just exactly. We don't need anyone to show up, and this is what we'll be doing.
Yeah,
which is lucky because that
because it's Becca and Mackenzie and you and I. That's everybody in the chat.
And they get
we could have just hopped
normally.
on a FaceTime call, honestly.
We could have.
Oh, that's fine. It's fine. Everyone's already replaced this time block in their week. So they've all moved on to something else.
Maybe we'll see.
It's okay.
It's a lot of beard though.
It's a heavy beard. Yeah.
It's just a lot of everything. It's
I think some would say you are thick with beard.
It's gonna be gone in 8 days.
Okay. Are you gonna shape it or are you gonna shave it?
I don't understand.
Are you gonna shape it, or are you going to shave it where it's like this? Like this would be like shaving it.
Oh, I see. No, I'm gonna shave it. I hate this.
Okay.
I would.
I
rather...
thought that now because that you're back in the land of Tennessee, like you're
Okay.
a mountain man again, and you've hung out with. I assume you've hung out with Jonathan Cottrell, and his beard is mountainous.
He just looks like he's becoming a dwarf.
He looks like he's a homeless man,
Okay,
but he is the most. He is the most.
I could at least see him swinging an axe, although that may also be the axe of a homeless man.
He looks like he's a what are they called when they're like shut-ins?
Bath salts.
Yep, bath salts. That's it. When they're
hermit. You're trying to say
a hermit.
Yeah.
Looks like he's a hermit that's been living on the land for the last 4 years, and but yet somehow also owns a personal plane and hangar. Like it's just this weird dichotomy of
he sells a lot of jellies at the market.
Yes, yeah.
But like he doesn't go. Someone comes and gets them from his house.
He is a living contradiction of himself in my opinion. His look does not align with what I know to be true about him. So
he is an individual.
He is, and
I like Jonathan. I should be clear.
Me too.
And I
love him.
Want to say that
wonderful.
If I was to think of the individuals that I know, and by individuals I mean the truly individualistic, he's up.
He's
there.
one of them.
Yeah.
Who would be other ones?
Like the truly individualistic people?
Yeah, sound it out. That's fine. How many people do you know who are truly individualistic? Like
Jedi
who would
Robbies.
Jedi Robbie. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not. I know that.
Okay.
Mackenzie's not.
Okay.
She's gonna hate that. She's gonna hate that I said that about her.
She owns a Peloton.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I think that automatically disqualifies her.
If you own a Peloton and like leggings, can't be.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If you've already gotten a pumpkin spice latte this season, I think that disqualifies.
And if you're a designer and you have a jean jacket and like black jeans or something. Can't be.
I know that I don't fit the mold because I fit the mold.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh. Okay. Anyway, we've got.
It's a great piece of workout equipment.
Yeah, that's exactly what everyone says, and I think that's the point.
We still like the truck. I've been watching all these like. There's this subreddit called Cyberstuck, and it's just people pointing out like failures of the Cybertruck, and it's people that are like, "Oh, look how I can off-road it," and they go into like a mud puddle and like a tire falls off and stuff like that. It's great, but like the thing is, Cybertruck owners just still love their vehicles, and so people they keep going. Still love the truck.
You can
Still love the
crap. You
truck.
can crap on a thing and it still be like your thing. Like
Yeah,
you can
you
do
can.
that.
Yeah.
In some ways, it's a more honest evaluation if you can find the
If someone
things
loves it and complains.
that somebody has things to complain about but can still love it in spite of that, right? Like I think that
Yes.
contributes to some of the success of the Disney Dish podcast is it's not all rose-colored glasses with them. But ultimately they support the company. They love the company, but they're not gonna they will regularly point out the flaws or the issues.
It's a bigger problem if you're if you're just ignorant or if you're just
Yeah.
like optimistic in the face of something that's or being generous about something that's clearly flawed and bad.
Well, then that's just denial or obliviousness.
That That's the word.
Neither one of them are ideal.
Oh, it was jean
Hey.
jacket and black jeans. Yeah, sorry. We went to, well, you could say any conference, it doesn't matter, but I think I most noticed it.
At Creative South?
No, well, Creative South's a good one. I was gonna say Crop.
Circles.
The one in Portland we went to.
Crop.
Was that
I'm just
Crop
gonna
in
name
Portland?
all of them until I get it right.
It's all of them. But I remember looking around thinking, like, for a bunch of creatives, you all look exactly the same.
Well, no, but the pins were different. That's where
the pins
that's
were
where you
different.
show your individualism.
But we got them from the same place, and we all placed our order late and had to pay rush.
That's true. That is true. Speaking of pins,
I have something so cool to show. I can't wait. I have total show and tell for tonight. This would have been a good time for me to do that because you're not even on camera.
Okay, I'm ready now.
Okay, here we go.
Becca gave me a Christmas present right before she left for her trip.
Makes sense. It is it's September.
She forgot to give it. She said, "Did I ever give you this?" And she hands it to me.
She's not early. She's 9 months late.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Well.
Not with that attitude. All right. So she handed this to me. She said, "Did I give this to you for Christmas?" I'm like, "No, you're handing it to me now."
And I don't even
Unwrapped.
like the show anymore.
But it says "Be a Goldfish" and it's a Ted Lasso. We're not recording yet, so I don't know why I am describing this for the listening audience.
Everything's recorded.
But anyway.
Oh, let's start. I didn't even realize we hadn't started the episode. We should start because I'm ready to show things that I'm sitting on.
Okay. Here we go.
Like this chair.
You lift up the chair. I also love the world in which you are so weak that it takes all of your strength to lift a desk chair.
Hold on. I assumed I was sitting in it while I lifted it.
Okay. Okay.
A feat of absolutely superhuman strength.
Yeah, let's start recording because this is podcast gold. 3 and 2 and 1.
I didn't even try.
It's fine. Oh, let's record. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 566 of the Pop Culture Roundtable. Hang on, let me start that over because I had to put a question mark in my thing, like 566. So I need to read it that way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it threw me off. All right. Welcome to episode 566 of the Pop Culture Roundtable. The podcast is stupid. I'm not going to do that. But now you all know that I would have done it, so that's fine.
Okay.
Welcome to episode 566 of the Pop Culture Roundtable, the podcast that's dusting off the cobwebs. Let me start over. I haven't been talking. Becca has been gone for 3 days. I have not been talking to anybody. This is the first time I'm using my mouth.
I have it.
I have it. Here we go. Welcome to episode 566 of the Pop Culture Roundtable, the podcast that's dusting off the cobwebs to make room for the spider webs. In this episode, we talk about Chimp Crazy.
Now that that's over, do you want to continue?
was gonna explain what happened, but I'm just gonna leave
I
it with what you
wouldn't.
said. I think
Just
it's
leave it.
I think it's better with what you said. Here we go. Becca's trolling me in the comments. All right, here we go. In this episode, we talk about Chimp Crazy, Rebel Ridge, and Disney Drawtober's 5th anniversary. I'm Andrew Sale.
And I'm Patrick Hill.
Okay. So put your hands together because it's time for another episode. The thud sound was just like someone took a 4-pound thing of Play-Doh and dropped it from 8 feet. That's the sound that it made. It's like it hit the linoleum floor and it was just thump.
It's the consistency of my hands.
It's just Play-Doh smacking into itself. Okay. I know, Mackenzie. It's fine. We'll get through this. We like to kick off every episode by going back and forth across the table and talk about things that are new, fun, and noteworthy about our week. It's been a dusty... Nope.
It's been a dusty what?
We're going to try this one more time.
Sure.
Okay. Well, how do I start? What do I say?
You already said it. You just...
No, we're not starting with that. We're not starting with that. That's trash. Here we go.
We like to begin each episode.
There we go. We like to kick off each episode. Nobody watched.
So long. It's gonna take so long.
Nobody watched. So long. We like to kick off every episode by going back and forth across the table where we talk about things that are new, fun, and noteworthy about our week. But really, it's been like, what, 5 weeks, 6 weeks? It's been a minute.
It's been a few weeks. Yeah.
And for those of you who are just listening to this, you'll never know what it took for us to get here, but it's been a journey.
I keep having things happen in my life, which is normal.
Which is what happens in life, yeah.
As they happen, I was in this habit where I would never tell you things that happened because we just talk. Like well, number one, we would see each other. But number two, we would always talk on the podcast. And so in some ways, it was best to hold on to those things that happen.
Yes.
But instead, what that's looked like over the last 5 weeks is we just haven't talked to each other.
Yep, it's just, I have no idea what's happening in your life. You have no idea what's happening in mine. It's just...
Life is just passing. So we need this. Are you gonna tell me?
About what?
That's the show. Yeah. Do you want to go? What I meant to say is, do you want to go first, or would you like me to go first?
Oh, just go. It's fine. Well, hey, before we start, I want to say to one of our favorite podcast family members, Sean Kreider, happy birthday. I missed it in Slack yesterday, and so I just wanted to take a chance to say to you in front of the world, happy birthday, my friend. I hope it was super special and super fun for you. So
not only that, but I think you missed it by 2 days in Slack.
Okay, well then happy birthday twice.
Jedi, what the actual hell? So that's the first thing you're gonna say after 5 weeks.
Is what the actual hell?
Could be anything. All right. There's something I've wanted, and you know me, like I don't just go throw money around. I can't spend it on anything. And but every time I walk through the store, I just stop and I just look and I imagine what it would be like to have that thing.
Chaps.
And I've begun talking about it. Talking about it amongst people, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. And
okay, so you don't currently have whatever this thing is you're getting ready to talk about.
Well, here's the turn.
All right, okay, here we go.
Here's the turn.
All right.
But then Spencer,
yes,
gifted me this thing.
Okay.
For I took his kid to the zoo, and I brought it back.
What happened at the zoo again?
I have already told you, which is good. I saw nature at work.
Yes.
But
well, you saw nature working itself.
I saw nature really just going to town on itself in a way that does not propagate more nature.
And then you told that janitor to knock it off.
Yeah. But so as a gift for ushering his kids away from the beauties of nature,
Yes.
he got me the thing that I've wanted, and that is a tech deck. That's right. I have finally,
You
after
can't be
wanting
dropping.
one of these, since I was like 8 years old,
Oh, you've
10
never
years
owned
old,
one.
I have never owned a tech deck, and
Wow.
now
Wow.
I do. I got to apply the grip tape right there. Nice. Look at that. That's great. Now, he didn't give me any tools. There's no extra wheels. There's no trucks. It's just one tech deck.
Don't they come? They usually come with an extra set of
He
wheels
managed to
and
find the
nuts.
cheapest tech deck he could
Did he buy this
possibly
from?
find.
Did he buy this from a garage sale?
He bought it from the homeless guy we were talking about before the
Oh,
episode
I see.
started.
I see. I see. I see.
So now I have to go buy. I'm sorry, Crider. I thought you were talking about nature. So now I have to go buy all of the other things because I have to get the whole skate park. I need a ramp. I need a
Mhm.
rail. I obviously need more tech
You're
decks.
essentially gonna get like a hamster kingdom of skate deckery stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
but this is a great start, and I got to say the one he picked, awesome artwork.
Would you say it's a skate start?
Uh, did Twitch really censor something? That's hilarious. Um, it is a. I would not say that, but I am happy with the artwork. Because looking at them, some of the artwork is bad. Like it looks like, oh,
You're bad.
yeah. Well, it's like it's almost like you see the lines where like the pixels are and stuff. It's
Yeah.
like it's really low res and like poor quality, but this one's really awesome. So I have now entered the world of the tech decks.
So I'm gonna pull this. I'm gonna pull that. I'm gonna pull that quote back up that was just there a second ago. Maybe if I can remember how to do that. Here we go. This one. Here we go. I so badly wanted the Wet Willy, like World Industries Wet Willy actual deck when I was growing up. My friend had one, and that was the one that I coveted. It was between that and the Flame Head from I'm blanking on it now, but you know what, a Spitfire. It was either the Spitfire deck or the Wet Willy deck from World Industries, and so I just think it's really interesting that Kreider brought up that specific one. Out of the
Aw.
thousands and thousands of decks that there are, man, that would have been
If there's
awesome.
one
If I
thing
could find
I
a tech,
know,
if I could find a tech deck version of it, I would buy it.
if there's one thing I know, it's you and Kreider are more alike than you are different.
That's true, and
Just saying.
I've always said that.
Wow. You've said some stuff. Okay, one other thing. He's always said great things, Kreider. Last thing I want to bring up for this portion of the show, and again, there's so many things we haven't talked about, like moved and bought other things and left all my
Arguably,
podcasting stuff at
something
home.
something more valuable than a tech deck.
Arguably. Okay, but the other thing I want to talk about is how to succeed in Mr. Beast production. I'm going to drop this PDF in Slack, but there's a lot of news going on about Jimmy Donaldson, Mr. Beast, and how he treats employees and how he treats production staff. And
In a bad way?
yes, there's a lot of alleged being thrown around. And most of this stuff doesn't seem like anything more than, well, a lot of the claims seem fairly weak. Some seem like they could have merit. Who knows how this all shake out? But all of that aside, one of the things that's released recently is that Mr. Beast, there's an internal document that if you get hired for the company is shared with you. I don't know if this document is from this year or from a couple years ago. I'm not sure the timeline on it. I just know that this was shared yesterday on a Twitter account and it gained some traction. It was front page of Hacker News Today or whatever it's called. And that's where it was sent over to me. But it's called How to Succeed in Mr. Beast Production. It's a 36-page PDF that is basically a stream of thought. And the idea is that if you're new to the company, you need to read this, and if you do these things, these are the actions you should take to be successful here. And if you're not going to take these actions, you should just leave. When I say stream of thought, it literally will just have like LOL, or it'll have incomplete sentences. It'll switch from structured to unstructured, or there'll be grammatical errors. It looks like he took his phone and just talked into it for 30 minutes and then hit publish. Like
Oh, it was
that's how it
JD.
reads. Yeah,
JD
exactly.
crafted this.
Well, yes. Now, it's not all bad information. It's some of it is very interesting. Some of it is decently in depth, like the way their videos are structured. So what do we do in the first 30 seconds? What do we do in the first minute? What do we do minutes 1 through 3? What do we do minutes 3 through 6?
Mhm.
Like what is our focal point? How do we make sure that we maintain attention? What are the metrics we care about? How do we monitor those metrics? How do we influence those metrics? There's a lot of great insight to how a channel like this operates, and it's insight. So I've watched a lot of videos, I've read a lot of interviews, and I follow a lot of creators, and there was some insight in here that I have not heard from anybody else. Typically, if someone gives you their top 10 list of things to do to start a YouTube channel, 9 out of 10 are the same for every top 10 list you listen to. But
Right.
this document has some very unique, very interesting stuff. That's a positive. Now, this document also has some things that are problematic. One example is that he describes his friends, his close friends, as the talent. And he
Okay.
makes a comment about, in order to make the talent feel comfortable, he uses the example, hey, if one of them wants to draw a penis on a whiteboard, leave them alone. Let them do it. It's important that they can be themselves. Things like that you probably wouldn't find in a company handbook from like other startups.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things in this PDF that would be applicable to a lot of environments, especially startup environments, in terms of keeping the goal in mind, knowing your metrics, always reframing, following up on things. Like there is a lot of good stuff too. I was talking to McKinsey about this before, and my balance is probably like 70% good, 30% is maybe some combination of bad, or depending on the implementation, could be good, could be destructive. Uh,
Okay.
all that said,
At least questionable.
questionable. So all of that said, it's still a fascinating look into a type of creator that there aren't that many of,
Mhm.
making a type of content that not many people can do,
Right.
and it's
Like
very candid.
arguably top 0.1% of people.
Uh, sure, absolutely, and it's very candid to the point of, wow, I can't believe they released this in this form. And so,
Mhm.
from that standpoint, it is a fascinating read. So, again, 36 pages. It's not super dense, but I think it's worth a read. So that's How to Succeed at Mr. Beast. That's the thing I was just reading today before we started podcasting. About 8 hours ago. That's all. That's the stuff that I deemed most important to catch you up on from the last 5 weeks.
Okay.
Oh, I joined the PDGA.
You did. Yeah. You got a
Yeah,
special package
it was
with
great.
special discs
And then
and
I paid money to register for an event just so I could get the player pack, and I showed up the day after the event because I got my dates wrong, and then I had to drive 45 minutes to where to Innova Discs warehouse to pick up the discs from them. I didn't tell you any of
wait,
that, did I?
no. Like to get your package, you had to drive to Innova.
I drove to. It turns out Innova Discs are made 45 minutes from here, and I drove to their headquarters to pick up my player pack.
They wouldn't mail it? I don't understand.
They probably would have, but I wanted to drive to their headquarters.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah,
because I showed up on the wrong day.
can we when I come into town, can we go do that?
Sure.
I
I
want to go to
honestly, like,
Innova.
we should ask for the factory tour. That's what we
Yeah,
should do. Yeah,
100% we should.
easy.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff that I deemed most important. Andrew, it's now your turn to tell me the things you deem most important from the last 5 weeks.
Okay. Buckle up, Buttercup. A few things. One, yeah. One, speaking of going to factory tours, I went to Colorado a few weeks ago and did a lot of distillery tours. Did a brewery tour of and the brewery tour of New Belgium, which is
Yeah.
a beer. is right there near Denver, Colorado, and it is an incredible tour. The campus kind of feels like almost like a Google type campus, the way that they kind of structure things,
Yeah,
and
there's a slide.
they've got a lawn out, like they've got like a front lawn where they have like a food trucks out there. They've got pavilions, and they've got um, what's it called when you're throwing bean bags at things? Can't
Do you want me to tell you? You want to
Yeah,
keep
what is it?
cornhole?
Thank you. All I could think of was can jam, and I knew that wasn't it. So like cornhole, and then you do this tour, and it's the main brew house is fashioned after a Belgian church, like a Belgian cathedral. So it's got like these, and I sent you pictures of
Yeah.
some of these things, and it's just like pitched up like this cathedral. All this wood is just like this. I don't know. I'm assuming it might be oak. Well, maybe not because it's not bourbon. But anyway, it's just this beautiful building where they do all this, and you drink the entire time. So like when we started it,
Well,
there
you
was
do.
no, everyone does. When you start it, you start with this like with the like 8 of their beers on tap, and then you can just go back there and they teach you how to pour, like to do a proper beer pour.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of have free reign to do that while she talks, or whoever it is that's doing your tour talks. And I think I started that off with, I want to say 4 beers in the first room.
Yeah. How many rooms are there?
Enough, because by the time I was done, I had 8 beers. By the time this thing was finished, and I also had started that morning with a glass of whiskey, and I had not eaten anything, and I had walked 8 miles that
Over
morning.
what? And what's the time period? You said 8 beers, but what's the hours?
It's a 2-hour tour, so 8 beers in just under, well, 8 beers in about an hour and a half, because you didn't get your first ones until you walked upstairs, and so yeah.
That would put me down.
It was a lot. And I hadn't eaten, like I said, and I had also had whiskey. So I was feeling it pretty heavily. That particular tour ends in a spiral slide from the bottling facility back down to the bar area, which is like the area where everyone starts. When I got to the bottom of that slide, I proceeded to immediately walk into the wall, which had this like display kind of sticking out of it, and I cut my arm open and started bleeding, and I'm like, I need food. So that was a fun trip. It was beautiful in Colorado. The weather was fantastic. 100% recommend going to the new Belgian brewery to check it out. And then what else did I do? I feel like other things happened, but I'm all of a sudden like blanking. There's been a lot of just outdoor activity in these last few weeks. Man, there was something I was going to tell you, and now I'm blanking on it. I can't remember the other thing. Okay, but we had right as soon as we were finishing out the show before we took our break, we was D23, and Jedi, Mr. Jedi Robbies, was such a gentleman and went and picked up stuff for us. Oh, I meant to actually bring it in here and show you the set, Patrick, but he picked up.
This would be now the second time we have been on camera with each other, and you have not brought the
and
set.
You've still not seen it. All right, I'm just gonna walk over and get it.
All right. Well, this means you're left with me, everybody. Andrew might have a drinking problem, and it's been hard for me to say that to his face. I figure I'll put it in the podcast, and then when he listens back to it, because he always listens to it, I don't, then this is my opportunity to tell him that I think you should see someone, buddy. All right. And there he is. So that's great. Hey, Andrew. Perfect.
Okay, and I'm back.
Cool.
So he picked this up for Patrick and myself, and it is the D23 Lorcana set.
Holy cow, that looks so good.
So here's the box, and then it slides. Let me slide it. The box is like this gold foil and
Yeah.
like navy blue, and then it's got the 6 specialty cards that are D23 exclusives, and they have like special like full artwork on them. The coolest one. I
It
think,
does
is-
look like Destiny now that you said that. It absolutely does.
So that's that set. Super pretty. Super pretty. And then he also picked up for me this little gentleman. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. This is the Mickey Mouse promo card. He's the sorcerer, and he's got this really beautiful gold foil. And it's Mickey as Sorcerer's Apprentice, called Playful Sorcerer. And then this is the 1-year anniversary pin.
Wow.
From Lorcana that they gave away. He also sent this for us, Patrick. This is for you with your box set when you come back to Texas.
Be a lanyard.
A lanyard.
Yes.
A D23
Oh,
lanyard just for Patrick.
I knew it.
So thank you, Jedi, for doing that. That was super
Kate.
nice of you. He spent a lot of time in that line, and turns out that it was a crazy year for Lorcana at D23.
Kate, I will trade you my Lorcana cards for your pin set. So I would be the big winner in that trade. But just throwing it out there.
I like this being thrown down. The floor is yours now.
I'll also give you these 2 pictures on the wall behind me. you can have both of these.
He'll also take you to the zoo for a very unique experience.
And you know what? I won't usher you out of the room. Or
you
like,
can stay
whatever.
as long as you want.
It's whatever I don't care.
Okay, so that happened. I've read all but the final A Court of Thorns and Roses book series.
That's what that means. I have seen you people
ACOTAR.
post that acronym so many times, and I have no idea what it means.
A Court of Thorns and Roses is the book series by Sarah Haas. Sarah H. Haas, I think. I'm actually not even sure the author, or Sarah something. But read that with the girls, and so that we could just have some fun. And then I did stumble across this as I was cleaning some things out and getting some stuff ready. Moss. Okay, sorry. Sarah H. Moss, or Sarah J. Moss. I don't know, it's Sarah. I found this when I was going through stuff. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I sold a lot of my collectibles. Like 90% of my collectibles are gone.
Did I know this?
No. This is me telling you.
Okay.
They're gone. I sold them to a local guy in San Antonio who has a shop that has like it's like a nostalgia shop.
Okay.
In a mall in San Antonio. And I brought it all out there to be assessed. This is like all of my 80s Star Wars toys, all of my Ninja Turtle figures, like the originals, all of my Kid Robot stuff, like all of my designer toy stuff. I say like 90% of it has been sold.
Right.
And now all I have left is pretty much just like my art collection that's right here that I'm getting ready to box up tomorrow, actually. And hopefully if people want to buy it, great. If not, I'm going to put it in a box under my bed in here and just get rid of all the frames because I just need the space and I don't need this stuff anymore. So it's a weird kind of weight off my shoulders. There was a little bit of like some emotion tied to it when I sold a lot of this stuff, but then like at the end of the day, I'd rather have room for the people that matter in my life right now than these things that have just been sitting in boxes and taking up space. So,
but you kept your best pieces.
I kept very few things. I think I sold a lot of the things that you would have said, like, why would you sell that?
Probably.
I think I sold most of it. I kept a handful of things that mattered to me. not the most valuable things.
Yeah.
And so anyway, in that process, I found this. Which I talked about years ago when I first got it, but this was when Mondo used to do like cool stuff. This is a Scrooge McDuck tiki mug, and it's the Lucky Dime variant. So it's like a chrome. It's absolutely beautiful. Here's the box that it comes in. Back when Mondo did stuff like this. So yeah, Scrooge McDuck. This would have been under the tutelage or under the direction of Brock,
who we love.
He's one of our absolute favorite people who used to be with Mondo. So this was cool. I was happy to find this. I did not sell this, and I don't even think this is super valuable. It's, I maybe would get like $80 or $100 for it, but it's just cool, and I love that it's the Lucky Dime edition, because if you know anything about DuckTales or Scrooge McDuck, that's kind of his origin story. So, okay, that's gonna be it. There's 100 other things that I'm sure happened, but one of those things that made an impact on me is going to be my topic. So, I guess we can just move on over into that if you want to.
Let's do it.
Okay, well then that's it, and we'll go to master categories.
I do want to say that as we were trading in our car, which they gave us too much money for, and I appreciate it.
How much did you get for your car?
We got $1,500.
Okay.
But the rear differential and the transmission were both going out in it. They said, so I was going to go just donate it to a technical college and let some like kids fix it,
Yeah.
Because I didn't think we'd get but a few $100 for it. If the car is in good condition, it was only worth like $4,000.
Yeah. If it didn't need work on it.
Right. So, and transmission work and differential work, that easily puts us over that $4,000 mark. So the car wasn't worth anything. But they said, so we traded it in, and I had to go back the next day to sign some stuff on the title because I wasn't there when Mackenzie purchased the car. And when I went over there,
so that's what she meant when she said I bought us a car.
Yeah, she bought
went
it
and did it. Wow,
she did it.
Nice.
And so I went back the next day to buy it, and they said that when they were pulling our car into the shop, the check engine light started flashing.
Well, the electrical tape that you had on the mirror or the whatever
over the light, it says
reader,
it just finally,
it just started to peel off, and they're like, "Oh no,
yeah,
we've been duped."
But one of the things I said to me, because we were talking like if we would have any memories or like miss the car at all, because we've had the car for so long, and the only thing we mentioned was Andrew dropped bread in this car, the whole loaf of bread.
That was the memory that you guys reminisced.
That's the memory for the car.
Wow.
But we got bread.
Where does that video exist now? Is it only on someone's phone? Does it only live on a phone?
Maybe, but it made the rounds in our group thread not too long ago.
I'm sure we can find it.
So we'll be able to find it,
and post it. We have a lot of memories. What was the first thing I said when you showed me the new car? Can you tell everybody? Do you remember?
No, what was the first thing you said?
I said, you're going to have to come back to Texas so I can take a ride in it. I know we're probably going to have to get gas.
This is true. This is true. Becca, post the bread video in Slack, because that is a great memory.
Yeah.
Actually, that means you and Cooper both have spilled things in my backseat.
You know what's funny? I thought about that yesterday. I was cleaning Becca's car while she's away. I was like scrubbing the seats of her car, and I thought about how when I spilled my Coke Zero in the back seat, and you were complaining about me spilling it, and I just kept saying over and over again, it's Coke Zero, so there's not sugar in it, so it's not going to be sticky. And you were like, I don't know why you keep telling me that. That doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, it didn't. Do you think that's the reason the transmission went out?
Well, I poured it directly onto the transmission, but I can't imagine.
It's just been eating through this whole time. It finally worked its way in.
It's still acidic. It just doesn't have sugar in it. It's not sticky.
That's what it is.
Well, oh.
I thought you were gonna intro the next part,
I thought I was too.
but
And
I
then I
just
forgot. Then I
just
forgot.
full on reminiscent, whatever. Just said,
I was just,
reminiscing.
I was just flashback mode, and I was just picturing, and then I remembered, and then I remembered people were watching this
Well,
right now. Oh shoot. Okay. Blah, blah, blah.
okay, Brad
Okay.
videos in Slack if you want to check it out.
Yeah. Thanks, Jedi, for thanks.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Coke Zero can still be sticky. Okay. Then thanks. I take
Oh,
back
wait.
all the nice things I just said
Wait,
about
wait,
it.
hold on. I missed this. I thought Jedi said, "Do we all just spill stuff?" Will said it. So then yes, because Will came and visited.
Yes.
He got this thing called lava chicken, which is like chicken with a cup and a half of red sauce on it, and he dropped that in my living room floor. Yeah, we do.
This is good. It's good.
And you know what? I still haven't been able to sell my house.
I was gonna
So
say the property value has decreased apparently enough that they're having a hard time selling the house.
Everybody's like, "Man, I love the house, but that big stain in the living
Ugh.
room,
What
I
can we do?
just-
What can we do to bring the cost down 20%?
I just can't get over that." Is that lava chicken?
Did he really keep saying that it won't be sticky? Because if so,
I
that's
don't think he
really
did.
funny. If that's true, then that would be.
But I was
super
just
funny.
flashing with anger, so I don't remember anything that he said.
Yeah. I'm just now getting over it.
Flames? Flames?
Flames are coming all
Off the
over
side of
my
my face?
What is it she says? Not coming all over my face.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't.
She just says, like, up the side of my face.
Up the side of my face. That's what it
Yeah.
is. Okay.
But that it would be sticky.
I cannot wait to talk about my category. Here we go. The master category is when we talk about the dice we rolled 4 months ago, apparently. And that's when we pick our Okay. One more time. I started fiddling with my mouse just now as if that would fix what just happened. As if that would mean nobody
Fix
saw
you. Yeah.
what just happened. Here we go. The master category section is when we get to talk about the dice we rolled before. That gives us our topic. We pick our topic. No, that gives us our category. We pick our topics based on those categories. It's been a minute. Just give me a second. We'll get through this together. Patrick, what are you talking about tonight? What was the dice that you rolled 6 weeks ago?
Man, I hope it was current movies because that's what I'm talking about. Rebel Ridge is one of the newest films on Netflix. This came out, I think, a week and a half ago. It came out the first week of September. And this is a movie by the same director that did Green Room and also did, you know what, some other movie.
Is it a horror film?
So it is not. Blue Ruin. It is not a horror film.
Okay.
It is.
Green Room is though, right?
I have not seen Green Room, but I believe it is more intense. It was so the way it was described to me is that Rebel Ridge, when it hits its kind of climax, the level of intensity you reach is where you kind of start Green Room 10 minutes in and stays the whole time. So Green Room is a much more intense film, but Rebel Ridge is it's a action film, but it's also a little bit of a suspense film. It's about an ex-Marine who is trying to help his cousin make bail, and he gets he encounters some small town cops, and they kind of prevent him from being able to do that, and then we watch as this situation continues to unfold. It is not based on a true story. However, all of the things, like the actions that are depicted in the film in terms of the police interaction and the kind of legalities that the police use and hide behind, are very real. and they were it was all
Like, in
crafted in.
terms of conceptually, like, these are actual things that they do, not things that they did, because it's not a
uh
real.
yes, so specifically what this movie is highlighting is this idea of seizure, especially when it pertains to money that could be like have been used or adjacent to
Drugs
like
or
someone's like purchasing drugs, selling drugs,
yeah.
etc. But these laws are applied really, really widely, so cops can seize items because the items they seize can then be like any money that's seized, they can just spend in their department for whatever they want to spend it on, and so it's a way of bolstering department budgets. There were This movie was written in the wake of some high profile instances of this. There was one real example of a police department that used money that was seized to buy a margarita machine for their office. And then there was some big, like, kind of, I don't know that expose is the word, but some big articles were written about it. So a lot of this comes out of that. So it's very real practices. There are individual instances in the movie that are referenced, that the reference itself is actually lines up one to one for something that really did happen. But this specific story, the characters in the story, they're not real characters. They are fictionalized. But um, have you seen anything about this film before I keep talking about it?
I've heard I've heard it, like, I've heard
Okay.
of it, but I don't know anything about it.
Okay, great. Uh, I knew nothing going into it. I didn't know it existed. So I hadn't seen any trailers for it. I hadn't seen any marketing material for it. I sat down and watched this blind. Because of that, and let me just say first, I had a great experience. And because of that, I'm wary of saying too many things because I don't want to take away the opportunity for someone else to have a really great and surprising experience. But again, this is an action film. It's gonna maybe seem a little bit confusing because in the first, let's say, 20 minutes of the film, there really is no action that takes place. I actually thought that it had been that I had misheard that it was an action film and thought it was some type of very serious drama. Because again, it's dealing with a very um it's dealing with corruption and a very painful thing, and it's real in such a way that feels very gross.
Okay.
Not that it's not that it's like over the top gross or something like that. It's just that if you watch someone get pushed around and taken advantage of, that just feels gross, and it just
Yeah.
feels so real the way it's all set up. So that said, there is a moment where it's going to switch, and it does start leaning into you see that, oh, this is in fact an action film. Um, but it still subverts some expectations. It's not a violent movie. Um, all the action is done in such a way that tries to be non-lethal or less lethal. And so whenever the main character is involved in anything, he's constantly trying to de-escalate throughout the entire film, and it's just very interesting to see a film that plays that way.
Yeah.
The other thing is it is a very, very tight script, so anything that is referenced in the film, there are no throwaway lines. There are no throwaway moments. There's no throwaway references. If it's in the film, if it's spoken about, if it's mentioned, it is going to be used and it's going to be called back to at some point. And in fact, I watched this movie, had a great experience, and then 2 days later remembered that, oh, this thing happened, which explained this thing. But because they didn't verbally say it, I just had to be paying attention and remember what happened earlier in the film.
I like that.
Yeah, so
I like that.
there are threads and things you can miss, because it's not gonna be fed to you. You
How many
just have
times
to pay
have
attention.
we done a review on this show and a knock against anything that we're reviewing has been about how things have been spoon fed and
Yeah,
how, like, let the audience kind of pick up on things rather than it just being telegraphed in.
yeah, to the point. Oh, it's a huge complaint of mine, and
Yeah.
we've had many times we've gone through that, to the point that there were actually a couple times in the film that we did have to pause and kinda back it up and rehear something again because every little thing is important, and if you're not paying attention for a moment, you're gonna miss something that's gonna, like, close the loop on something else. So beyond that, the only I don't really have any complaints about the film. The acting is great. The people, each person in their roles, was awesome. They subverted some of the expectations and some of the payoffs that you expected, but all in an interesting way. The only thing I'll say is I think in wanting to really push home this big reveal of how crooked these cops are, some of the story starts feeling a little bit convoluted to the end, especially when you understand that a lot of the thing they're not really hiding that much. I mean, they're working within legality, and the situations we're talking about are protected situations. So it seems in some cases unnecessarily convoluted, since we know that like they're not legally doing anything wrong. So there were a couple stretches to like hammer that point home that it's bad.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't know. I mean, it not in any way that took away from the film, not in some way that was incomprehensible or something like that. It's just that there was a little bit extra time spent on it that wasn't fully necessary. In that we like already got the point.
Yeah.
But yes, just a great film. One thing I should point out: so Aaron Pierre, who plays the lead character in this, uh, I did not. Uh, I didn't know where I had seen him before, and it turns out he was in Old. I don't know if you remember, but there was a guy that played like a music artist called like Midsize Sedan or something,
Yes.
and that's him. He's lead character. What's interesting? Do you remember him really from Old? By the
Yes,
way,
I do. Well, it's funny. I just listened a few weeks ago to the "How Did This Get Made" podcast with Paul Scheer and Jason
uh huh.
Mendoza, not Mendoza. Jason, the guy that plays in the league, crazy, the one Rafi from
Yeah.
the
Okay. Yeah,
league.
I know
Okay, I
Rafi.
can't
Yeah.
remember his name right now, but they have a podcast called "How Did This Get Made," and they talk about these films, right? Like how this get made.
Sure.
And they talked about Manzukis. Thank you, Kreider. And they talked about Old, and so I was literally, they were going kind of character by character, walking through all the like the
Okay.
beats of the film, and so did this whole deal about mid-size sedan being his name. So yes, I'm
Okay.
actually recently been refamiliarized with this character.
So this my understanding of the story is John Boyega was supposed to be the lead in this film. John Boyega got a couple weeks into filming, bailed on it. I think the rumor is that so this is supposed to be set in Louisiana, like in a parish in Louisiana. My understanding is the rumor is he just hated the environment and it was too uncomfortable with like bugs or heat or whatever, and just like bounced. That like
He's
that's
he's the more that I've heard of him, the more I feel like he is one of the least professional actors out there right now.
yeah,
And and it's one thing, like, you can agree or disagree with his like political stance that he takes on things, but he's not professional. He goes out and actively
right.
talks against the companies and the movies that he's being a part of. It's like he's becoming increasingly less and less hireable.
So Aaron Pierre is who replaced John Boyega. And in the first few minutes of the film, again, I was kind of understanding what I'm trying to see and who is this character, and it wasn't quite landing with me. I wasn't sure how I felt about him, and especially opposite Anna Sophia Robb, who's the kind of the main female, because her performance is incredible. Like from the moment you see her, she just owns the scenes that she's in. But by the end of it, Aaron ends up being such an incredible cast for this role. It works so well. He somehow strikes this like Will Smith plus Wesley Snipes version of a person in terms of like energy and charisma and things like that. Uh Absolutely loved him, and I cannot for the life of me imagine John Boyega in this role. It just could not have worked anywhere in the ballpark of how well Aaron Pierre did. So,
Maybe that was part of the issue. Maybe he realized that he wasn't gonna do the character justice, and rather than like own that, he just says, "I
yeah.
don't like it in Louisiana. It's sticky and muggy."
Final thing, James Cromwell's still alive, and every time I see him on camera, I think he was the dad from Babe, right? Every time I see him on camera, I'm like, oh, that guy's alive. He is in life. He was just recently in Succession, and I totally forgot. So
Oh yeah, he was the brother. He was
yeah,
the
he's the
yeah
brother, and
yeah.
every time I see him, I'm like, oh, him. But Rebel Ridge, that's all. Really great movie. Go watch it tonight. I think the runtime is just over 2 hours, like 2 hours 5 minutes, something like that. Um, but just a fantastic film. Very, very grounded. Great action. Not over the top. Yeah, I just loved it. I would sit down and watch it again right now. The only thing that I hate is that I couldn't watch it in theaters, but so good.
Well, it's good because you wouldn't have been able to rewind it and rewatch parts if you
Well,
had done it in
I
theater.
need to not talk. Well, like when I don't feel the compulsion to like not talk during a film when I'm watching it at home, and this
Yes.
is one that like you need to not talk during. So good.
Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Okay. I know you said to take 2 hours to watch it tonight. I'm not going to watch it tonight because
You should watch it tonight.
I'll have gone to bed by then.
Okay.
But I do appreciate the offer. I'll put it on the list to watch, but it's
Okay.
just not going to be tonight.
Close enough.
Instead, what I'm going to do is talk about Chimp Crazy. Chimp Crazy is about the most aptly named television show I've maybe ever seen. Even better named than like the Great British Baking Show and Top Chef. You know, things that are like America's Got Talent. Some of these things that you think are like so on the nose named that nothing could be any more just could be any more appropriate for what the actual content is. However, Chimp Crazy is the perfectly named thing for this show. So this show is a 5-episode mini docuseries on HBO. And it's done by, so I'm hesitating. So it's done by the same director who did Tiger King. Okay,
Sure.
So you're familiar with Tiger King. However, because of the explosive nature of Tiger King and the very diversive and very kind of polarizing experience with Tiger King, all normal people saw that and were repulsed, and then all like kind of exotic animal people saw it and were repulsed by the fact that people
Oh, sorry.
And they were like upset that at like how people were portrayed, right? Like that yeah, whatever. Because of that, there is a very polarized feeling about the directors. The director's name is Eric Good, who did that. And so in going into this film or into this documentary, he couldn't use his name because he's been essentially blackballed by all of these communities. And so what he does, and they set this up at the very beginning of the first episode, he has a proxy director that essentially a guy he has hired to go in and be the face of this documentary. All the while, Eric is in the back, like he's the background guy, like kind of tooling all of this around or whatever. Yeah, I don't agree with so Sean Kreider in the chat has said it's so gross that the director did that, just absolute journalistic malpractice. I don't disagree with you. I'm just telling you what happened so that he could get in with this. So who he actually hires is a guy named Dwayne Cunningham, who used to be he's a clown. He went to Ringling School, like Ringling Clown College, with Steve Hogue. I'm just kidding.
Do you know? Oh, you know who else went?
Who?
Steve-O.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, so Steve and Sandra Hogue both went to clown college. They're officially like they're clowns. Anyway,
but also Steve-O also went.
Steve-O and Steve Hogue. So
yeah, both went.
So he used to be a clown. He used to travel with Ringling, and he also owns some exotic animals or whatever. So he specifically hired this guy because he knew how he could kind of make his way into there. He had some clout with those people. So anyway, this is a story chronicling, really it's one family, and they tell offshoot stories of like 3 or 4 other families, but it's really about people who are like private chimpanzee owners.
Okay.
And it chronicles the story of what of like the battle that PETA has been doing with this world for the last decade or so. Actually, longer than that. How
Question:
PETA has been involved.
Is some of this specifically in the wake of like the animals like Michael Jackson kept?
They don't mention anything about Michael Jackson, so
Okay,
I don't know if that triggered some of this stuff. But it's well. So let me just kind of give you the rundown of it. There
sure.
is a specific woman that you're introduced to at the very beginning. Her name is Tanya Haddix, and Tanya is a self-proclaimed Dolly Parton S. She calls herself the Dolly of the chimps. My eyelash just fell
Great
onto my
big
glasses.
tracts of land.
She's got huge tracts of land. No, she's got big, kind of teased out platinum blonde hair. She puts like crazy long fake eyelashes on, and she gets like these lip injections or whatever. She's wild. But she literally says that her chimps, she calls her chimps her kids. Her chimps are more important to her than anything in life.
Okay.
She would leave her husband if she needed to, and she loves them more than her kids. Like, she's verbally saying this. This is real. Like, so Chimp Crazy,
Huh.
like it's legit. So it's chronicling this story of how PETA is. And I'm not going to give too many details, 'cause I think you should watch it. PETA is she's in a legal battle with PETA where they're trying to get these chimps removed from the encagements that they have there, and trying to get them relocated to more like chimp sanctuaries and things around that are more equipped to give these animals a better lifestyle, or a better, what do they call that? I can't remember what they reference it
Okay.
as, but getting them out of there and put somewhere else. So it chronicles that, and some crazy twists and turns happen. It's not just as straightforward as a long drawn out like court case. Truly crazy things happen. Things that you would only expect in like a crazy movie or something on like an Eric and
Tim and Eric show or something.
yeah, a Tim and Eric show. Like, truly crazy turn of events happen multiple times in this. The main chimp that is the story is kind of centered around is his name is Tonka. He's the chimp from the movie Buddy. He was in Babe. He's been in a lot of movies. And so another main player in this, if you don't remember the movie Buddy, it was the lead in that movie was Alan Cummings. Alan Cummings is a huge part. I think it's just Cumming. Alan Cummings? Is it an S at the end? I'm second guessing myself.
I don't know.
Fact check me. Alan is a huge part of this because
Is he in this show?
Yes, he's
That's
a PETA. He's a PETA advocate. So he's on the side of PETA, and his introduction into the show is awesome because I love Alan.
Exactly. I do too.
So watching the show, but they do go through and give other examples of no S, just Coming. Okay. Is that okay? We'll just leave that there. I think we do need to put that on screen though, just right there for everyone to see it.
Sure.
Okay, good.
No, I was gonna say like that. You didn't even have to tell me there were chimps in this or any other details. You could have literally just said Alan Cumming is in it, and then I would have wanted to see it.
It gets truly crazy. But one of the things that they do is they tell other stories, these side stories of other chimp, privately owned chimp gone bad scenarios.
Sure.
Several of them where someone literally gets their face ripped off.
Yeah.
Someone literally gets chunks of their body bitten off.
Cool.
And these just crazy scenarios where the chimp just snaps one day, and they're dangerous. They're wild animals, and these people are treating them like more than just like children. They're treating them like full on human, like feeding them, chicken nugget Happy Meals and cupcakes, and like it just fully bathing with them, like crazy things. Like it's hard to even fully give you a picture of it without you just seeing it. Um, but it's a fascinating show. It's sad in a lot of ways, and it makes you angry in a lot of other ways. There's lots of I out loud to myself watching it by myself in the house yesterday said, "Wow." Like there's moments where that stuff happens, but at the end of the day, it is so interesting to watch this story unfold, and it goes places you never expect it to go. So if you liked Tiger King, I actually think this one's a bit better than Tiger King for a couple of reasons. One, it's not quite as intense. Tiger King gets a little intense, but also I think it's shorter. It's a lot more compact, so the story is more digestible, I think, than the Tiger King one. The Tiger King one goes on about 2 episodes too long. If you're asking me, which you didn't, but I'm telling you because you're showing up to listen to this or watch it. So, Chimp Crazy, it's on HBO Max. Go watch it. It's what is like it's the very top thing. I actually went on to HBO Max to watch it because I heard someone talking about it
Yeah.
a couple days prior. Who did I hear talking about it? I don't remember who I heard. I heard Rainn Wilson talking about it on a podcast. And so I went on to look it up, and when I opened up HBO Max, it was the cover, like the featured cover thing for me. So it's top of order right now. It's very like on trend. Go watch this, and then let's chat about it in the Slack channel because it's wild. So that's Chimp Crazy. Go check it out if you're into that sort of thing. Okay, that's going to be it for our topics. I do have one final thing to share with everybody. Today, on record day, we released this year's Disney Drawtober 5th anniversary lineup, and this year's theme is called Happy Anniversary. See what I did there? Because I'm going to show you this. There's the lineup right there because we are dealing with all of these. We're looking to the Disney parks, to Disney films, Disney TV shows for our prompt list because there's all these major anniversaries happening this year for these major Disney properties. A lot, and all of these are kind of Halloween spooky season themed. So the first week is dropping in and checking out. That's the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror celebrating its 30th anniversary. The second week is Incredibly Villainous. The Incredibles are celebrating their 20th anniversary. Room for 1,000, the Haunted Mansion is celebrating its 55th anniversary. Then it's Sleepless in the Hollow. The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad is celebrating its 75th anniversary as an animated film. And then finally, as we do with every year, All Dressed Up is that final week, the week of Halloween. It's Disney Drawtober's 5th anniversary. So we're going all out. We've got some fun stuff. I don't want to give too much away right now, but stay tuned if you're going to be a part of this this drawing challenge that we do. There will be impromptu prompts that pop up throughout the month, some fun ones. They'll all be celebrating some big anniversary for something. So there's some fun ones there, but then we are also doing some giveaways that are like, this is the first year that we're doing sponsored giveaways, and I'm excited to partner up with a company to give away some fun stuff each week. So there is incentive to participate this year. And it's a real deal sponsorship. So I don't want to announce it on here, but stay tuned to the Instagram feed over at Disney Drawtober, and then please participate with us this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. We always have hundreds and hundreds of entries by during the month of October, and it's just a great opportunity to draw some Disney themed fun stuff with a community who just enjoys doing that. So so this year we're pulling out all the stops. It's going to be a fun one. Happy anniversary, everybody.
Dude, congratulations, man.
On what? I haven't done anything yet.
5 years?
Oh, yeah. Yes, we did do that. Yeah, that happened. It's been a crazy 5 years. No, like who knew? Like Lauren, Mariana and I, Landon World and I started this thing just because we wanted to do it. And then, man, that first year we realized other people wanted to join us, and and then it's just grown every year. And so this year, the sponsor actually reached out to us and asked if they could participate with it this year. So that's huge. It's super fun. You know, we get to
Tech Decks.
It is Tech Decks. It is specifically the Wet Willy Tech Decks, and so everybody gets one for participating. So when we get off air, I'll tell you, Patrick. But everyone else needs to tune in to the Instagram to find out when that happens. So that kicks off October 1st. The whole month of October, we've got ideas and prompts for you to draw with us and have some fun with us. So join us for that. It's going to be a good time. Okay, on that note, I think we're going to get out of here. There's nothing else for us to talk about, nothing else for us to promote.
That's it.
So, you know, check us out on the social medias. Check us out in Slack channel, conversations. Even though we've been gone for weeks, the conversation's still been happening behind the scenes over on Slack. And so join us on the Slack channel. Go to mof1.network to find show notes and links to this stuff, but also to find an archive full of other shows from the last 10 years. And then one of those is the Slack channel. You just see that little Slack icon. It's the like little hashtag symbol or whatever. Click on that and join the conversation in there. Find us on social media, like and subscribe, rate and review, do all those things. We're just happy to be back talking to our friends. And man, I think until next time, I'm Andrew.
I'm Patrick.
Hey, good to see you.
Bye. Lo-fi. Wait, are you leaving right now?
What?
Are you leaving?
I was just playing the music because I wanted to play it.
Are we done?
We can be. Are you okay? Like, what's happening?
I didn't know. I didn't know what was happening.
I can't just dance. I was just dancing.
What if? No, I'll save it. You can dance. You can dance.
If you wanna.
Man, I miss this. I would like to cut to Kreider's room, and he's just looking at like a Klondike bar right now.
Man, I miss this. What's going on?
Okay. You know, I've heard that when you're comfortable with someone, you can sit in silence.
Yeah, let's see how comfortable they are with us. Let's see if our viewership drops after we just sit here quietly.
And then we'll know. We'll know what you think about us.
Oh. Did you see what I sent you? I texted it in the on-screen chat.
Yeah, I can't read though.
Oh, okay. Well.
All right.
Guys, this was fun. I think what we'll do now is leave. I think that's the next step. I have artwork that I need to start taking out of frames. It's going to take probably 3 hours to unframe everything. So I got to get started on that.
This might be the case. It's hard to say.
Like what? It's like talking to people that...
No, it's like the talking that might... He's saying that attendance might go up if we stop talking.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Like the talking might be what drives people away. Not even farther away, come visit. No, but actually you can't come visit me. You could, theoretically.
Yeah, there's a couch.
But I live with someone else, so then it would be like this inception.
No, you live with someone's else. You live with your mom, who also lives with your sister and brother-in-law.
So that would be like right,
like a third removal.
It's too many. It's too many, man. So once we have our own place, our own house, everyone's invited.
Well, you have your own house. It'll just be here.
Yeah, if you want to come, if you want to go to my house,
comes and stays at your house in Texas while you're in Chattanooga.
Yeah, why am I not just Airbnb-ing that? That's crazy, because it's not doing anything for me.
You check out my home Scrooge in Slack. I think he's having a stroke. I don't understand.
Did you also do the brewery tour today?
He did. He just came down the slide.
Okay. I know it keeps climbing for some reason. Everybody's excited to see us go.
Everybody, it was a good one, and we'll see. AI wrote that comment.
Oh, I thought it was said Al.
Oh, Al wrote that comment. Oh, speaking of Al.
Shut up.
Okay. No. Al Borland, right?
Okay.
From
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. We were driving past when we were in Colorado, driving from the Denver airport to where we were staying near Fort Collins. There's a Binford plant. So Binford is an actual
tools. Yeah.
is an actual tool company, which I had no idea. And then on their billboard had Tim Allen and Al Borland, whatever the actor's name is.
Yeah.
They had them on their billboard actively, like right now.
Okay.
Does anyone who's under the age of 25 know who that is or what that reference is?
No chance.
It's just crazy. I had
Home
no
Improvement
idea.
is one of the shows that has like you would have much better luck with like Full House, someone still having knowledge of.
Yeah.
But I feel like Home Improvement is fully removed from the zeitgeist.
I agree, because who other than Tim Allen is still even remotely relevant in our society?
Yeah.
Like, when have we seen Patricia Heaton? Patricia Heaton? I think that's
We
her
don't
name.
even know anymore.
Or Jonathan Taylor Thomas, or either of the brothers. Like, when was the last time we saw any of these
Pretty
people?
sure the older brother got arrested for like a DUI or something, but
I think you're right.
I should
think
really
you're
fact check that. I think pretty recently he got arrested again, but
Do you remember the episode where Jonathan Taylor Thomas's character
takes the caffeine pills?
No, that's Jesse.
I'm so excited.
I'm so scared, but it was a similar vibe of episode. He had to go get some tests for like something that they found. They found like a mass in him or something like that, and they were waiting to
I
find
might
back. Do you
remember that. And then the asteroid hits the planet and they all die.
Yep. You may be convoluting two 90s TV shows, but I can't be.
No.
held-
Okay. In fact, I do think I remember that vaguely, but like I don't remember any of the what or the why. Or the...
It ended up being benign, but it was some sort of mass, and there was a whole and he was scared. It was just like every once in a while these shows from the 90s had these like
she's
thyroid.
here with facts. Was it like
Man.
thyroid cancer?
But it wasn't cancer. Like, it wasn't cancerous, but that's what they were thinking.
Oh, he had a thyroid.
Yes. The episode where he discovered his thyroid.
JTT.
He was doing what monkeys do and discovering his thyroid.
People always acted like JTT. Oh, so he had thyroid disease and you remember it because you have thyroid disease. It's not funny that you have thyroid disease.
Nice laugh through, Patrick.
No, it's not funny. But what I'm saying is I see why you would have linked those and you would know.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. That's awful.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah.
JTT, people acted like he was going to be more important in my life than he ended up being.
I agree. The last thing I remember him from is Man in the House.
So
Man
good,
of the
though.
House.
Have you watched it recently?
No, but I did just a couple weeks ago in the car. Just started going, what's the song?
Return to Innocence.
Yes. Yes, I just started singing that song.
And then you just see like the walls start filling up with like
with
the
just
debris,
driftwood and trash. Hey, how are you, Jack?
Oh, I forgot about that.
And he says,
"Hi, how are you?" Whatever he says.
And he goes, "Fine, thanks. How are you?" Chevy Chase, man. Before we knew he was a racist, he was freaking funny. It's really hard to go back now.
Watching it's funny we didn't talk about the Emmys because that was not in the best things that I did. The Bear really frustrated me, taking awards away from actual comedies. But Steve Martin and Martin Short were on stage at one point and they were presenting. And they already have like a touring comedy show, so it's unfair to put them up there. They've got a variety. Yeah, they have plenty of bits for that. But I was just having that moment of like, man, Steve Martin, you turned into this, and yet somehow Chevy Chase turned into that.
I have that thought all the time. Genuinely, like these guys come from the same kind of pedigree. They come from the same era, and
through
yet
the same institution. You know,
it's wild. And you think about, I think about that all the time. Like it was when we saw Chevy Chase at the 40th SNL like celebration or whatever. I just thought like this is the version of two extremes.
Sure.
Of like what happens in man. Did you watch the 2-part docuseries on Apple TV Plus about Steve Martin?
No, I have watched his his stand-up special he does with Martin Short. I've watched that, but I haven't. Two
of the three amigos are doing great.
Yeah.
He does this thing in he has kept all of his screenplays. Steve Martin has, and he has them all hardbound in the same kind of maroon hardbound with like a gold foil like title treatment on it. And he pulls out Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and he starts sharing this story about John Candy. And he shares this story about how there was this full page monologue at kind of the climax of the movie, and they ended up shortening it for time, and he ended up shortening it to just kind of one sentence. But he reads a piece of that, and then he gets choked up and starts crying, thinking about John Candy. Yeah. And it was just this very moving. Like, you don't often see him express emotion. He's usually either really deadpan in his expression, in his like comedy, or over the top, like wacky. Those are his kind of his two modes. And so seeing him just have to take this beat when he was remembering John Candy was just a really sweet moment.
It sounds terrible. So on the Chevy Chase side, Joe McHale has started being a bit more candid in interviews recently, talking about some of the things they went through, like behind the scenes, making Community.
Oh yeah.
And it sounds bad to say, but there's a part of me that goes, when Chevy Chase eventually, like we all do, passes away, I really want to read the book that Joe McHale puts out, because I know there's going to be a lot of stories that come to light after that happens. Yeah. And I'm fascinated to know what was going on behind the scenes.
Hey, this is a wholly kind of disconnected in a lot of ways, and in some ways you'll understand kind of the path that I got there mentally. Do you think that Louis C.K. is kind of back? Do you think that he is kind of arisen above all of the cancellation and stuff? Because I've seen him more readily pop up in my feed, and he's doing shows and he's doing podcasts and he's doing like, do you think he's kind of come back out of that season?
Do I see him popping up in more things? Yes. I assume you're talking about him because of the monkey incident earlier, that is the train of thought that got you here.
Yeah, I've been holding on to this since you texted me about the zoo incident. Yeah.
Yeah. Have I been seeing him in more stuff? Yes. But I don't know anything about, like, he's just not someone that I've like kept tabs on. I don't know anything about.
You didn't watch Louis. You didn't like.
No, I don't. Okay. I don't know his. I mean, I know the story in terms of the very problematic bits, but I don't know anything that happened post that. So.
Well, he's kind of incorporated what happened with that into some of his content. Yeah, like being very open about these situations. And anyway, yeah, so you talking about Chevy Chase and like him passing on, me thinking like that will probably be when we see him again. We're not going to see him in anything before then, I don't think. Much like we're not going to see Bill Cosby in anything again. But we are starting to see Louis C.K. back in things, and his was a bit of a different cancellation, but still they're all kind of they all kind of went through these paces, right? Deservedly, not undeservedly, but it's
all I know is the last time I saw footage of Louis C.K., I thought, wow, he looks old now. And
Louis C.K.
he was wearing these like gold rimmed glasses, and they looked like something my grandfather would have worn.
Hmm. And they
And
even are tinted yellow from the smoke.
yeah, and he's like, he was really scruffy at the time, and I just thought like that is not at all what I remember him looking like. I was a little bit taken aback.
It's
So
tough. We're rewatching Parks and Rec, and so he's
yeah,
a character in there. And
we just recently I think we're on season 4 right now. We've been
yeah,
going through it. Yeah,
yeah. I think we're on season 4 right now. So his character is very funny. It's
his character's
written
great.
really well.
His
It's
character's
great, and
yeah.
it's hard to remember. Sometimes then I remember. Like I don't always remember when I'm watching and I'm laughing, and then every once in a while, like my memory will jog, and I'll go, "Oh yeah." I mean, it's fine for me to laugh at this, right? I
Yeah,
go through
yeah.
this mental monologue whenever this stuff happens. So, anyway, same thing happens for me when I do my annual Cosby Show rewatch. So,
Sure.
on that note, I think we're gonna hop out of here.
That's a good one to leave over. All right.
right.
Hey,
We'll
everybody.
see you guys later.
Have a good week. We'll see you next week for sure.
We will.
Next week.
We will.